Welcome to Iblis Manifestations. Because people are watching that and they want to know, like they want to get a feel and a vibe of Norway.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing usually works out well.
Exactly.
Yeah. But coming back into it, you should definitely start a YouTube channel.
No, yeah, I already set it up. It's just a matter of, well, you know, having a channel that you need to provide content constantly to build it.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I was thinking of trying to find a little different route for it, because I know a lot of musicians, but not only in metal, you know, so I can do, I think it could be an interesting thing to find some artists who are actually either doing extremely successful streaming numbers, and talk about that whole thing from the perspective of having huge success, rather than being angry towards the system, or stuff like this. Or,
understood.
Talk to younger aspiring artists what they think they should do to, you know, make their name known out there, and what they are doing, and all kinds of stuff like that. Or it could be topics like there's a lot of music channels with I mean, every music channel basically is based on one person's perspective and ideas on how things are, and there's a lot of producers and musicians telling you how things work, and the way it works for them doesn't necessarily make it work for you. But they are so confident that they have found something nobody else has found to make a, you know.
100%. I think for them the incentive is also trying to get as many numbers as possible. The thing that I kind of try and focus on is that, you know, like let's say if you were to have your own channel, which I think would work out pretty great, you know, considering the feedback that you get, especially with the black metal tour stuff and all of that kind of stuff. I think that well, black metal bus tours, not tour bus, but I think that the thing that happens with that is that you know, you can get easily lost into the thing of, oh, how many streams I've got, you know, not just as let's say someone who's got a YouTube channel or a podcast, but even as a musician, like, oh, our streams are only this compared to so and so band. That's something that you can very easily get disheartened by. But let's say even if you get 100 streams or 100 views, if you imagine a room full of 100 people, that's a decent number of people there, you know?
No, that's another thing is that let's say the guy I was talking about who has the most streaming numbers I know, I actually bumped into him in the bar in Oslo. We're already recording, right?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
we are.
let's do that.
Yeah, sure. Let's carry on, man. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll do the proper introductions. Anders, it's a pleasure to have you on Iblis Manifestations. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You've been very patient with me trying to get this sorted.
Oh, I think this worked out perfectly, man.
Yeah.
We got the can I call it Bergenese background? I just made up a word. But
Yeah, they paid us so much money for this location. No,
yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
But yes, you were saying.
Yeah, it's in the metal scene. Back in the days, nobody was counting anything. You know, there's a huge difference from when we started out. Was that it was never about the amount of sales or tickets or all that stuff belong in the entertainment business. And for me, metal was a refuge from the competition of being. Reaching out to as many people as possible, because you shouldn't try to reach out to as many people as possible if you are true to yourself. I think the motivation for making metal has to come from within, and that you think you can contribute with something. But as older as I get, the less the definitions of music as being in boxes and genres are interesting. It's only interesting. It's only interesting when you are growing up, because then you need to search for a special identity of yourself. You can say that I'm that kind of guy that likes this strange stuff. Yeah. Nobody else understands.
So you always had your thrash guys, and then the death metal guys, and the black metal guys.
Yeah, but I'm too old for that division.
Yeah.
I mean, the only division we had was little normal heavy metal, leaning into the power. They call it power metal, or and anybody who was basically trying to sing with a clear voice was one world, and everybody was trying to make chaos and scream was the other direction. And that was not divided into 50 genres in itself, because anyone who made noise and chaos was good for us. And it was, the early thrash metal was, if you listen to it now, it's more like a little bit faster heavy metal with vocals coming from the punk scene a little bit and the heavy metal scene, but going to the direction where all the vocals are based, no melodies really, which isn't really true, but the melodic part in the vocals wasn't really there. And then to have the music being monotone.
Monotonous.
Yeah. And even without traditional songwriting like verse, bridge, chorus, to stay away from anything that made it normal was what we tried to do.
Of course.
So that would alienate most people. So I used to say that metal, if you see the whole population of the world as a potential listening crowd, metal in itself is probably reaching out to 1% of the world population.
Yeah.
In numbers. If you really, maybe it's 0.5%. 1% of the world population is 800 million people. So that's a lot. So it's maybe...
If even that, to be honest.
Yeah. So, but that is the limit of everything from the most noisy underground stuff up to Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
or Metallica.
I got it. Yep.
So if that's your, but that's still 1% of the human population knows about this. So what everybody here is trying to do is to divide that 1% into 1% again. So it's like thousands of a percent. And then you get down to a sold out walk-in.
Yeah.
But that's 1,000th of the world population. And even that has potential to be looked upon as a commercial thing. So if you divide that again into 1,000, so it's like this is complicated now. But then you get.
But I understand where you're going.
Then you get down to a very impressive number: 8 million people, maybe, in total in the whole world, would understand anything that has harsh sound, brutal vocals, intricate guitar stuff, or just basically drones. I mean, anything that goes in where I'm talking now is everything from sono to the most obscure ambient dark stuff.
Aghast.
Yeah,
something like that.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But in that 1,000th of a thousands, that's where we should be. But that has a huge potential in itself.
Sure.
Because if you as an underground artist gain fans who are obsessed with your stuff, like you become one of their maybe top 3-5 bands that they really love, that they buy all the albums, they go to the shows, they buy the t-shirts. You don't need more than 1,000 people in total to be that fan base. If you have 1,000 people that invest $100 a year in your band, that's already far above. I mean, the money coming in to whatever you're doing then is far above a normal wage for any job. So you could do that as a lifestyle choice, and even then pay your bills if you do it right.
Yeah.
But that's never really the point. The point is to always challenge what is the status quo. And that's what we always did back in the days. That this kind of music, as soon as the normal people started to like it, we went the other way. So it was like a cat and mouse trying to avoid the wrong people to be into what you did. I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's kind of running away from anyone who superficially likes it.
Yeah.
And that's maybe it's a lost art form, because now, like you said, everybody counts their numbers, like streaming numbers. Oh, I have 200,000 people watch my video, I must be popular. I'm thinking, well, this leads me back to the one guy I know who has like the biggest streaming success in a different genre. And I bumped into him in a bar in Oslo just a week ago, actually. And he has, with his friend, one song on Spotify with 2.2 billion streams.
That's
one track.
That's like Metallica, Black Sabbath level of kind of streams, you know.
Yeah, hardly anyone in. Yeah, I don't think Metallica has one song which has reached over 2 billion.
Yeah, maybe not. I think I know, obviously, Enter Sandman and Nothing Else Matters are ridiculous numbers, but it won't be like full albums, that's for sure. Yeah,
but the point is that this guy is totally unknown.
Oh, interesting.
I'd like to quickly interrupt this episode for the following message. My band TRIVAX will be releasing our third full-length album, The Great Satan, via the legendary Osmos Productions on the 30th of May, 2025. If you're into extreme metal that's unapologetically defiant, politically and religiously charged, and unafraid to make bold statements where other ways shy away, then you need to hear this album. I would say that Musically, The Great Satan blends dark ritualistic Middle Eastern elements with traditional folk and very dynamic usage of the extreme metal subgenres, creating a unique and immersive soundscape. The intro track actually utilizes folk instruments, including baklama and oud, and throughout the album you will also get the usage of 3 different languages. One, which is of course my native language of Farsi, or otherwise known as Persian. We also have songs that are sung in Arabic and of course English. The album embodies rebellion, violence, and ecstasy, unafraid to say what so many extreme metal bands will not. Copies will be available directly from the TRIVAX Bandcamp page or otherwise from the official Osmo's web store. Thank you for your support, and please enjoy the rest of the episode.
He is I've known him for a long, long time. He used to be the mastering engineer for a lot of Norwegian metal stuff went through his mastering.
What's the song? Do you mind saying?
It's a dance song. It's called I Took One Pill in Ibiza.
Oh, I know the song.
Okay, exactly. That guy is
All right. Yeah.
He if he came to any bar or anywhere, nobody will recognize him. He never promoted himself as an artist. He's a producer. So that's the world we live in. So people who are kind of anonymous can have like insane numbers and actually make money on this thing. And people you see all the time can be struggling very much to make anything from that same thing. So I think it's a very interesting world we're living right now. It's like it's up to anyone to create their own space and their own values and identity and try to get it out there. We're all kind of equal, putting things into the internet, and then it's all about who else is there to catch that up.
Well, one thing that I kind of noticed, I like your sort of mathematical breakdown of the number of people that are actually into this. I think that's a really good and healthy perspective to have for people, because I always say this, even when I did like panels at Inferno and stuff, I said to people, at the moment you're surrounded by thousands of metalheads, so you think, metalheads are everywhere. They're not. No. We're a very small number of people, and I noticed this. There's a couple of things. One is that you start, playing festivals all around the world, and it's like you meet the same people at each festival.
Yeah,
that's the first one,
Yeah.
And the other thing was that pretty much every show that I personally go to, if I were to maybe compare the numbers of Iblis manifestations to, let's say, I don't know, like Joe Rogan or like even a PewDiePie or something, like the bigger channels, it's like, it looks like nothing. But then somehow, pretty much every single live show that I've been to, maybe for the past year and a half, 2 years, there's people that come up to me who recognize, and I think that is kind of, that in itself, it's not to say, how cool, but more importantly, it's a testament to how small this scene actually is.
Yeah, it's super small. But it's at the same time, it's super small but international.
Yeah.
Which
right.
makes it unique. I used to do a lot of, back in the days, I used to do a lot of tours with other bands, musician or being a tour manager up until the pandemic, and we could pretty much play anywhere in the world, and it was easy to travel. But as the world has turned into this brand new world with all the new visa restrictions and travel costs rising and all that stuff, I've decided to basically let most of that go because I don't need it anymore. I don't need to be on stage to be a happy person. I love to play shows, but I don't want to spend money on playing shows.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
So We're doing a lot of shows actually with Cadaver this autumn in Norway and Sweden, because it's convenient for us to basically drive by car to, let's say, to Bergen, play a show here and play in another town and go home. And for me, that's luxury now.
Yeah.
Because if I needed to spend like half of the year striving for a success level where all the costs are covered, you basically just rise the threshold of where you can actually also pay people that go with you as professionals, like sound engineers. But if there is not a market like that for your band, I have no problem with just taking what we get, you know. I've done my fair share of everything.
You definitely have, yeah.
So I feel like I'm kind of semi-retired from the rat race of trying to reach out to as many people, that even people that like what we do in other countries. Whenever people say, why don't you come and play and so, I'm like, yeah, you say that, you know, but I mean, we are some people that need to go there. And if it's not commercially viable to fill a small club with ticket sales, you should come to Norway or anywhere we play. It's less expensive that you fly to us than we try to fly to you.
Well, Fields of the Nephilim have been doing that for years now. They do like 1, maybe 2 shows a year in England. 1 in summer solstice, 1 in winter solstice. They've done that for like what, almost like the last 10 years or something?
Yeah, good idea.
And people come from everywhere just to see those shows.
Yeah.
Kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to be in a position where you can set that up, of course.
Yeah.
But another thing which I realized is that young people now have no idea about the timeline of the music. So...
what do you mean when you say timeline?
No, because everything's out there at the same time. The whole knowledge about what's inspired what kind of gets lost in the wilderness of the streaming services.
I understand.
Which is kind of... It's cool, and but it's also confusing if you want to be like a music historian, because the whole idea of having a band working in the studio, make a new album, release it, and then tour on the back of that album, that's a very old way of... I mean, that's the entertainment business. But now I think bands can, if they realize they can be in the studio, record 1 album with some crazy ideas, and then a different album with a little bit different ideas. Just release that, and when you tour, nobody will remember what you did when anyway. So because they don't pay attention to anything out there, if it's new or old or...
I understand what you mean about the timeline aspect of it, and that is actually quite interesting, because we've actually done that. Like we've had, you know, we went into the studio, just as an example to support what you're saying, you know, we went to the studio in 2019, recorded an album that got further and further delayed because that was like the pandemic came right after, and then it was impossible trying to find a label for it because they all had a massive backlog. And then what we did was we took an EP from that album, did a different mix on it, released it, and then released the actual album afterwards. But the quality of the EP, we purposely made it more shit, so it sounded like a stepping stone. You know, but that was all the same session. I mean, people don't give a shit what came before what, is my impression now. It's always mesmerized me how not a lot of the younger black metal fans, they don't really appreciate Bathory as they should. And one of the reasons is that most of the albums they have on streaming services sounds really bad on streaming. I don't know what happened to the sound on those things, but the albums I had in the 80s, they sound amazing. But when I listen to it on YouTube or Spotify, they just sound so bad compared to the quality. Any specific examples, or is that just like all of them? Like, let's say first 4 Battery.
Maybe they have remastered them for streaming now. I don't know.
All right. Okay.
But the point is that for us being the older guys in the game, those albums are a part of the Holy Grail for the reason why things sounds like they should.
Absolutely.
And when younger people basically don't get that, maybe it's too early. Maybe we'll have to go 10 more years so it will be regarded as the old Black Sabbath stuff or something. You never know. Or they are simply just unimpressed, or there's probably several factors, because I think there's a division now, people that like things to be extremely mathematical and clean, and people that like real musicians playing out of time and doing their thing without any polishing.
Yeah.
But it's that's always been a division, you know. Right now, if you want to try to record something that sounds gritty, I don't think the younger generation will even know how to do that, because everything is in the box. They record their drums with the same drum sounds, and they use the same plugins for guitar sounds. And they can go on the internet, on the YouTube, and learn all kinds of ways how to make things sound clean. But what does that do? That makes a lot of music sound exactly
the same. Yeah, of course.
And the reason why is simple, because what we did back in the day is that I had the guitar amplifier I had with my effects, and the guitar I had, we just recorded that, and that was my sound. The next band had a different setup. They had a different sound. Drummers had different drums with different sound. And the whole idea of trying to make something original partly is to make it on your stuff. If you go to a studio and you record everything on equipment that you never used before, but it's better, it doesn't necessarily sound like you anymore. But everybody gets impressed by sounding better, in even quotes, better. But if you are truly trying to work out some sort of vibe or sound that is truly your own, with your own tones, it requires you to basically look away from what everybody else is doing.
Of course. Well, I think that's a part of the authenticity of it all, really. Which is like, if you're not embracing that, then why are you really doing it? You know, we actually just had this conversation with my friend Victor. We had from Triptychon, actually. And it was the same thing. You know, it's like, if you're not trying to be honest and sort of express yourself as an artist because you need to, essentially, and have your own identity, then what are you doing? You're just putting out a product, you know? That's basically the word that I think a lot of people are throwing around. Just to kind of come back to it, though, you mentioned Battery. I'd love to talk to you about that for a second, if that's okay. Do you remember your first impression of hearing that band?
First time I heard them was on a compilation LP called Speed Kills 2. I think that is from 86 or 87. I
think so.
Maybe 86, actually.
They'll correct us in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. But the first song I heard, which I had on this vinyl, was a song called Possessed from The Return. And to me, that just sounded so different from everything else on that record. Everything else on the record was like, there was Halloween, I remember, on this record. Sodom, but a variety of different bands like this. But Battery just sounded like nobody else, because they seem to have this like dystopic way of writing the songs. All the riffs were just to carry the vocals and the message. It was not like somebody sat down and I have a cool riff. It was like if he tried to play guitar along to what he was expressing in the lyrics. And that is a key, which I understood very early.
Hey, just a quick moment of your time. For the past 3 years, Iblis Manifestations has been entirely self-funded. This means that every subscription fee, every piece of equipment, all of the travel expenses have come out of my own pocket. Over time, people have asked me how they can support the podcast, and to be honest with you, up until now, the answer's been pretty straightforward, and that is simply spread the word. But now, there's another way. I have set up a Patreon account where followers of the podcast will be able to make monthly donations to the podcast, and this will help cover the costs of streaming gear and basically everything else that goes into making this show. This isn't about making a profit, and to be completely honest, it's not about breaking even either, because that's certainly not been the case for the last 3 years. However, if you do find value in the conversations that we're having on this podcast and wish to help them forward, then you can now support the show. Just head to the link in description and hit the Patreon button. In addition to that, be sure to check out the Iblis Manifestations Big Cartel page, where we will be selling exclusive merchandise for the podcast. At the moment, we got the Extreme Podcast for Extreme People t-shirts, limited to only 30 copies, and the pre-orders will be sent out from the 1st of July. So the link for that is in the description. And in the future, the Big Cartel page will also include some occult accessories and jewelry, which will be handcrafted by myself. And we will also be selling merch and records by other bands as Iblis will expand into a label of its own. And, of course, it goes without saying, thank you for supporting Iblis Manifestations. It is much appreciated.
And most people that listen to anything, even metal, are actually primarily listening to the vocals first. Along with the whole package of.
No, I think you're right. Actually, yeah.
If the vocals doesn't cut it for you, doesn't matter how good the drums and the guitars are. If it really puts you off, you're like, "No, this band is shit."
Totally true. Actually, yeah.
And that is a very important part. And most metal bands come to this conclusion too late, or they understand it. It depends on who's writing the songs in the band. You know, there's if you really want to express your own identity truly on your own terms, you should always start with how the vocals sound on top of whatever you do, and then fix that towards supporting the song. And create guitar themes and breakdowns and movements according to what the vocals are doing, and to use rhythm more than tonality or speed, because I see a lot of bands on festival stages now, and the sound men of today, they really put the guitars down in the mix in a way which wasn't really useful before.
Yeah, if you go to like open air festivals, it's like you always just hear drums and vocals.
Yeah.
And then like a little faint hint of guitars in the back.
Yeah, and that in metal, the guitar and the vocals have to be loud. And all those drum triggers that sound exactly the same, because they use the exact same boxes, makes just the drum sound the same, and nobody dares to experiment, you know. And I think the bad part about this is that there's so much technical going into making things super tight and super precise, but it takes away the grittiness or the attitude.
Well, I think you enter this realm of competition, you know, you're trying to be extreme, so then it becomes this competitive thing, but then it's competition all in the same direction, you know, whereas if you want to make...
It's all about making the numbers rise, maybe.
Yeah, but also if you, or like even just having the most extreme sound, but I also think that yeah, there's value to that, you know, but also at the same time, being extreme can be a lot more subtle. Like it can be in the lyrics, or it can be in just like one random layer of keyboard that's over a song that gives you a creepy, eerie feeling, or the concept, you know. I think it can be, being extreme can be done in many more ways than just having like a kind of sound, you know.
Yeah, but that's I think that's where the future is for human music, because
the future is for human music.
Yeah, for the humans to make music that sounds different from the computers. We need to go deeper into the faults and the unique sounds to, you know, work there. There's I had an epiphany in, I think it was in 1993. I'm coming back to this perfectness, but I actually managed to see the Velvet Underground when they had the reunion, the psychedelic rock band Velvet Underground. They had a reunion.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but they played the Roskilde Festival in Denmark, and they are the proto indie punk psychedelic out there band. Everybody knows this band from a certain age group as well. But what they had, they were basically four people all the way in the front of the stage on a line, and the drummer had basically one floor drum and a cymbal and maybe tambourine.
Okay.
No, not a full drum kit. There's a bass player, violin player, and the guitar. Of course, Lou Reed was the guitarist, singer.
Absolutely, yeah.
But the eeriness and the vibe they created, just the four of them, with very simple means, with distortion and echo effects and all that stuff. They sounded more harsh and like a wallow sound than any of these bands having tracks, 10 million beats per minute drums. Because the human ear is not made for too complicated rhythmical patterns. You know, if you want to play, the faster you play, the more you slow down. You know that, like pace-wise. You know, and then it goes like all that. It just makes the just makes the feeling of the things slow down because it's too much. There's too much repetition in. But it's a cool effect. But if you want to break it down to musical history, which I'm a total nerd about, all the things we do that we think are the extreme part, that should be there all the time, just destroys the extreme part. Because if your level of extreme is constant, it just becomes normal. But if you want to really scare people or put people in like a lift off or wow, you have to take it from somewhere lower with less information.
Yes.
And that's a very known composition. I mean, I never went to music school like that, but if you listen to the classic composers, they knew this like 200 years ago, 300 years ago. They make like huge melodic landscapes that was to bring you into the music, and then they would do something called a crescendo, which is a in any kind of thing. But if you are making all the music from the crescendo upwards, there's a limit to the brain's perception of what's going on.
Yeah.
So
you need that songwriting dynamics. It has to be an experience.
but that's the point. The dynamics from the way things are recorded and mastered and everything now, the dynamics are kind of gone, and it's like almost like a lost art form. Yes. To pay attention to the feeling of things, to bring things down and bring things up again. Mm-hmm. So, but all the stuff I'm talking about now, if people start to not think that they are making something that should work in this or that way, that never actually work anyway, it doesn't matter what genre or music it is. If you truly want to make something great, you should roll back and just focus on what triggers me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's something I've always told bands. I used to be like a consultant for musicians, so this is a long time ago. I bothered to do that on full time, but it's like 20 years ago. I was working in this music organization about the business and stuff, but one thing which is clear to me that never goes out of fashion is that until you make a song that makes yourself sitting listening to it, making your hairs go up and think, wow, this is great. Until you're there, why bother talking to me about promotion, labels?
I'm so glad to hear that, you know. Like, so many bands miss the trick on that, honestly.
Who the fuck cares? Unless you are yourself like, wow! You basically haven't made music that is worth releasing. I mean, you can release it and see what happens, but until you are at somewhere where you feel like somebody else has to listen to this too because it's so insanely good, that's your first mover.
This is like, I know bands literally, and I've been a part of bands like that in the past, alongside my main project TRIVAX, which has obviously been a constant for me. But I've been in bands like that where I've even said literally exactly what you said, where they're like, they have the aesthetic nailed down, they've got the merch nailed down, and these are all like very important things, and they're getting gigs and they're getting promotions. But then it's like, yeah, but what's the substance and the message at the core of the band? And it's kind of like, it's like a gray area, It's like, well, how much do you actually believe in this? Do you just want to be on stage and be noticed? Which, by the way, it's fine, but when you don't put that same level of focus and effort that you said into the music and the messaging itself, then how different are you from just being a product?
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of the thing that a lot of bands really need to consider. Bit of an off topic. You mentioned Velvet Underground and you used the term psychedelic, and a spark went off in my head because I really wanted to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
You are a mycologist,
yes,
if I understand correctly.
Semi-educated, but I don't have a degree. I'm in degree, but I know a fair share of this ever since I survived cancer 5 years ago. And that this was during the pandemic, so I started to think that I should maybe I should get a hobby.
Yeah, well, it's a good hobby to have. Yeah. Do you mind if we talk about that? Like,
no, I'm more than willing to talk about that because there's so much health benefits from research about mushrooms, and that's it's always been a part of Eastern medicine, like. The Chinese and in South America and stuff like this. So they have known about a lot of benefits from different kinds of mushrooms. Basically, there's a variety of mushrooms that you can get different benefits from. Now, actually, you can buy a lot of these things in health stores as...
like you can get lion's mane and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you should... lion's mane is a good example. It's you can actually eat the lion's mane. if you're a vegan, you don't need to be a vegan, but if you can actually slice it up and fry it like a steak.
It's quite delicious, actually. Yeah.
But this is one of the few known substances that you can take that help rebuild brain cells. And it's promising in research against the dementia and the Parkinson. A lot of these diseases can probably be prevented or held back by doing a variety of these mushrooms. Because there's also, I was trying to find those English words for a few of them before you came here, but there's one called Chaga. The Chaga mushroom family is a huge family. Many of them, they basically grow on trees. It like comes out of the tree like a circle.
Okay, yeah.
But there's different benefits from different versions. We have a lot of them in Norwegian forests. And they can boost your immune system. They can also be good for blood pressure. They can be good for your general well-being. There is recent research opened now finally for Amantia muscaria. Because
fly agaric.
Yes, those are very potent medical plants.
Have you tried them?
That one I haven't tried.
Okay.
But they grow everywhere in Norway.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I was researching this. I talked to some people who took it, and you should not try this at home.
No.
You have to know what you're doing, because
can be quite dangerous.
Literally, that's the point. It's a genetic thing. It's not dangerous for everybody, and it doesn't do the same thing for everybody due to the genetics. There's a research in Russia, actually. There's a woman who's online on YouTube. You can find her. She's been researching 20,000 different subjects who's been using this for medical use.
Okay.
And it's primarily a poisonous mushroom. We're all told when we were kids not to eat that because it's not die. You can't die from it. I mean, you can if you eat too much, but your kidneys can get fucked up. You have to dry them, and then you have to take off the skin, and you have to measure it. The thing is that we still don't understand how to process it to make it what's the word, monogam. So it's like, if you want to make a substance that works the same every time you take it, you have to make it into a powder and mix it up.
Understood. Yeah.
So because there might be a part of the mushroom where the active ingredients is over here and not
more
over
concentrated.
here.
Yeah,
but
of
so
course.
that's not equally, and it's not equally on each mushroom, and it's very hard to measure. And
it's the same with psilocybin as well.
Yeah, I was going to come to psilocybin.
Sure.
But that's a little bit easier to measure. But Amantia muscaria, they are used in the shamanistic tradition in Siberia primarily. And the myth of the flying Santa Claus with that hat, the red hat with the dots, is actually from that mushroom. So there's lots of fun facts. There's a lot of small crumbles in the mythologies and the fairy tales about this, because obviously our ancestors used this as medicine, and it's most likely a part of why we believe in gods and spirits, because they are in that world, the parallel world that you enter when you eat it. Some people I talked to said that for him, one person, he took it, and for him it worked like a sleep aid. You go into like deep sleep with insanely visual dreams for almost like 24 hours. And when you get out of it, you feel relieved and stronger. So that's where the myth comes from, that Vikings were taking it for battle. It might be true for some of those guys, because it made them feel like they were invisible. I mean, not invisible, but invincible.
Yeah, they also maybe could see the spirits besides.
Yeah, but it would not make sense to me that they took it and then went onto the battlefield. They took like a ritual before they were going to battle to prepare mentally.
That would actually make perfect. I'm so glad you say that, because I've thought about this before. Because it's obviously a common thing, the common knowledge, that. The Vikings actually took these kind of mushrooms and psychedelics in conjunction with battle, but whether they were doing it at the same time, like I can't imagine taking something and then like trying to fight someone, because it can be quite immobilizing. Actually.
Yeah, and you will get totally out of focus. So whatever they did, they would definitely have done it like a ritual before preparing to go to battle. So their minds would be clear and their bodies would be prepared for whatever was coming. But you have to understand that these people had a total different belief about death. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Because they didn't perceive this life as something that ends when they die. They had a deep connection to their spiritual world. And for them to die in battle was a heroic thing. They had honor, which is something people don't have anymore. Honor and shame is gone in the world we're living now. But when we talk about psilocybin, that's also very, very interesting, because I did cancer treatment for almost a year. When I came out of that, I was actually really, I would say, you feel like you start your life from the beginning again when you survive something like that. But I just wanted to move on into my new future, and I got some psilocybin mushrooms from a good friend, and read a lot about it before. And then found that using it therapeutically, and that's another thing. This is not drugs like that. You don't get addicted. You should use it if you want to use it as a ritual for your own psyche.
So just to add a little bracket there, I'm fascinated to listen to that. This whole thing of like referring to psychedelics and lumping them in at the same shit as like cocaine and speed, just because this drugs frustrates the fucking life out of me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean that's misinformation, and basically that's actually fake news too. But the biggest scare is probably, for a good reason, from the pharmaceutical industry.
Absolutely.
See all these things as a big threat. Literally, because right now there's so much drugs out there for depression. People who are all different kinds of depression are treated with medicine to take away the symptoms, not to deal with the core.
It's all a band-aid approach at the end of the day, and of course you make a very valid point, and I could easily see this being the case, that it's like, well, if, at the end of the day, an industry, whether it's pharmaceuticals or whether it's media or whatever, their purpose is incentive. So when you have something that grows out of the ground for free, that people can just take.
And even better, they can just take it one time and they're cured.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the absolute worst.
That fucks with your business. So then,
so it's like this is equivalent to I guess. Let's say we had a world where everybody was aware of the medical potential in nature, and when you get into a sort of depression or a big change in life, you can go into a spiritual session. I mean, back in the days, I'm talking like 10,000 years ago, societies were tribes, and they all had a shaman, which was the medical man. So if somebody had a trouble, they went to him, and they didn't get. the whole invention of gods and the system for basically collecting taxes and destroying the belief in human beings, like religions. If you take that away and you actually have somebody who has studied how to deal with your situation, and they sit down with you, not for one day, maybe they will have a walk with you, learn to know you for like a week, to figure out what kind of issues you're dealing with, and then they make a portion, and then you are in a controlled environment, and you're dealing with your shit, your mental stuff, and you get out of it feeling like you conquered something inside yourself, and that you can look forward now and basically rearrange your head. And then when that can last forever sometimes. People get to be changed by one session or a couple of sessions. And if they ever go into that place again, let's say a year or two later, they know then how to deal with it. And then you can get to all these stages through meditation. But like somebody said, like, meditation takes time and patience. It's like if you want to meditate your way into a psychedelic trip, that's possible, actually. But it's like
I believe in that, actually.
Yeah, but if you take psilocybin, the equivalent is like, instead of walking all the way up to Mount Everest and find the top, psilocybin basically takes you on a helicopter and puts you straight on the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then it's hard to say what it really does. But what I learned is that everybody kind of figure out their own self inside it. It's basically a trip inside your own psyche, and you deal with things you didn't know you had to deal with, maybe things from the past, the things you have forgotten, things about your family.
Right.
And then you put it's basically like going into a big cupboard where everything's all over the place, and you put all the socks in the socks box, and you just arrange everything so suddenly everything feels controllable for your own. So now you know where all the things are buried.
I know you're speaking from experience, because that totally like resonates with me, like what you're saying, like, because that's exactly what it feels like sometimes, like with psilocybin especially. It just feels like you've got these boxes of information in your mind and subconscious mind, and then it just goes boom, 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 starts opening all these boxes of information that was already there, but it's like you had to crack it open, And I think that, and just coming back to it as well, I do believe that you can reach those states with meditation, because I feel like I've actually personally been close to experiencing that myself, So during cold exposure, sitting in the freezing cold whilst doing certain breathing techniques and closing my eyes, and seeing things. That's something that I believe in. But I think the problem is a lot of people don't want to feel uncomfortable.
No.
They don't want to feel uncomfortable within their mind or within themselves. They don't want to have any illusions of their ego shattered or anything that they're desperately trying to hold on to. But I think sometimes there is power in letting go and becoming one with nature, because then you can build on that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that we are filling up our daily lives with ego-building shit, whether it's purchasing the right house, cars, the right vacations, going to the right restaurants, hanging out. All that stuff is just superficial. It's a part of a pleasant life for a lot of people, but a lot of people don't choose it themselves. We don't have any free will. We just follow whatever we think we have to follow.
Yes.
And as soon as you detach yourself from all the pressure of society's way to tell you what you should do to be a happy person, and you find your own happiness and your own well-being, you're kind of invisible to all these measures and all the pressure. And that's very dangerous, because then for society, because then you realize that nobody should have jobs they don't like. Why should they? Why do we do that? It's all about purchasing the bigger TV and or everything that has to do with getting more money is to feed into the system, which is rigged against the human potential. We live in a society where we are basically told that we have to do. First, you have to have an education that costs you so much that you need to get a job to pay off all that, and then at some point in life you will have a happy life. No, that's not how life should work. Life is here and now. You have to be truly in the here and now, and then see, where am I now? What am I doing today? What do I want to do? And make sure that you help other people, and that's a very different perspective than to have like ambitions or conquering whatever material stuff to be happy. You know, everybody will die with a lot of stuff left behind. You know, there's everything we have craved for and built up. Finally, when you leave this world, all that stuff will just sit there. You know, you will not bring anything of that with you, regardless of what happens. So whatever you don't really need, you should really start to think, what of the stuff I have or the stuff I do I do to please other people's image or what I'm supposed to be? Or you can choose to figure out, okay, if I really don't like this and this and this, maybe I shouldn't do that. But it's very hard for people to come to that conclusion, because they think they should do all these things to be like everybody else. But it's very hard to be individually happy. Mm-hmm. It's very hard. And we're not, human beings are not set up to be searching happiness in the true form for themselves, you know.
Well, happiness almost exclusively has to come from a form of discomfort.
Yeah, but I mean, it all depends on...
Maybe not exclusively, but a lot of it, you know, like, it's something that you have to earn, but also I think that our definition of happiness in itself is kind of skewed in this modern context of society. You know?
Well, it's I read this, somebody, I don't remember who said that, is that all of us are actually in ourselves, just being a human being, capable of pretty much the same things in some sense of the word. We can all build from nothing to whatever we want to do. But if society put you first through 12 years of school, which I think is the biggest mistake, the school system is trying to make everybody, from playful children with ideas and imagination, you just funnel people into narrower and narrower views of what's possible, to come out on the other side with like basically saying, most things are impossible, instead of saying everything's possible.
Yes. Oh, that's such an important and powerful thing, man. I'm totally with you on that. And I think that, I think that creativity and imagination is the thing that feeds everything that we do.
Yeah.
And I think that school systems worldwide, I went to school in Iran, and trust me, like, that was not a good thing for me.
No.
And they leave you with no choice but to rebel. And then, but also at the same time, if you're rebelling, then you kind of become like an outcast of society, which you sometimes have no choice, but you don't want to be that way. You want to be productive. You want to do good things.
Yeah.
But when they're telling you, you can only do that through this certain way, and that certain way is basically equivalent to slavery.
Yeah.
Which is what you were describing there, essentially, having like student loans and stuff like that,
They tie you up to so much debt that you have to obey all their other rules to pay it back. Mm-hmm. And There is ways we can avoid all that, but I think that goes down to the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Most people are not aware of these things because they don't dare to challenge the system, and the system isn't constant. Everybody thinks that the system we have now...
It's important to question those things, you know, because at the end of the day, I think what happens is that a lot of people become quite content with where they are, and they kind of don't want to mess with the structure of things. And I think that, but in a way, that's kind of how the system will trap you in itself. You know, like,
yeah.
I'm a big fan. Like, I'm a big fan of hard work. I'm a big fan of doing things, and you know, if it's earning money or it's having a business, having family, or whatever, you're making art, whatever your endeavor is in life. I support that, and I support people who put effort into things that they're passionate in. But what I'm also saying is just be wary of what else that is supporting and what this overall structure is, you know. And I think that psychedelics can definitely help with just asking some basic questions, you know. And I think that those questions are necessary for us because I feel like humans carry a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Okay. And the trauma gets passed around from like a simple interaction with like a barista at a coffee place, or like a slight like aggression of like how we say things, you know, how we treat people, how we look at other people, you know. And I'm a part of that too, by the way. You know, like I have like aggression sometimes, like in me. Like, I don't always act on it, but like in me, there's sometimes it's like, fuck, well, why am I like this? You know. But I think that psychedelics and at least like going inwards, these are things that we can deal with. You know, you can face it. It's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be a little bit messy, especially if you've been pushing all the dirty stuff under the carpet for a long time.
Yeah, and you have to be willing to basically. I think the big thing is that most people actually have not thought about the fact that they have problems, you know.
Yes.
And because they try to avoid all kinds of confrontations with themselves or parents or whatever it is.
And sometimes the stuff that's passed down as well.
Yeah, and I think that this, how should I say this? It's very hard to help someone that you don't know onto a path for them to know themselves better if they are having all these perceptions of that things are as good as they can get. I mean, most people don't search necessarily for solutions they have no idea exists, you know. Solutions within yourselves.
But they don't know that there is a problem to begin with.
But I think there's another factor there. There's I just saw this. I think that was a YouTube clip, but it was saying something about there's a small portion of human beings who are thinking in a radically different way than other people. Basically using their intelligence in a different way, because if you are, I think it's about being truly free from all this, you have to do this, this and this and this, and then you get to be retired, and then you have a happy life. All this schematic way of looking at life from 20 to 30, all those, you know, that life is a sort of route where you go from zero and then you climb some sort of mountain, and when you're there at the timeline, and then you're at your happiest, and then from there it will be just like happy, you know. That's never gonna work for anyone, but that's how things are designed to be. Like it's a continuous, get more and more into, you know, a state in life that makes society happy, that you're a good citizen and a good consumer. And whenever you say that to people, they don't realize what that means, because they haven't reflected on the fact that if you take all your possessions and throw them, I mean, if you don't have any possessions at all and you have to start from scratch, most people will be totally clueless and totally terrified of facing themselves without all the right clothing and the right cars, and who are you then? The ego just builds on material stuff. And I found a long time ago that for me, experience is treasure. Experiencing things is what builds my treasure dome, not getting things. You see the difference?
I feel that,
So experience and going through different phases of experiencing things that makes my life interesting is my path. And that never has a straight line. It always goes sideways. Of course, I'm in a very lucky position now. For instance, let's say with music things. As long as you strive for something and try to make things this and that, it will never work. If you lean back and let things come to you, if you know what I mean, don't go to the mountain, let the mountain go to you. I guess then you find new pathways, new collaborations, new people to do interesting things with that you never thought would be there because you didn't look for them. They would just come in at the right time. But for that to happen, you have to be open to say like, okay, this is actually something brand new and interesting that is coming to me. If I don't do this, I will not even regret it because I don't know what I'm regretting. Let's just do that and see what that does for myself, for my own experience. And then that has always led to new experiences, new perspectives, meeting new people, building on my treasure dome of experiences, which is what I have inside. But I try my very best actually to just go through them, treasure them, but still be in the here and now.
Yeah.
So today can be the most exciting day in my life. I don't know it yet, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just not trying to force anything is probably the best way. To just work and work on what you're doing, and then suddenly things just materialize. But that requires two very rare things in society today. One, patience, and boredom.
I like that.
Yeah. if you don't allow yourself to go into boredom and have patience with whatever you're doing, you're not gonna develop anything interesting and new for yourself. Because we're constantly bombarded by entertainment in all kinds of directions, or distractions, I would rather say, not entertainment, but distractions that take you out of the flow you're in.
That's interesting, you know.
Because the reason why I started playing guitar in the 80s was pure boredom, you know. There was nothing else I wanted to do, but there was at the same time nothing else to do. You know, I could read comics or books or have a walk in the forest or play guitar. I never sat down, I never had the possibility to sit down on the phone and doom scroll, you know, all that stuff really take away a lot of the potential. And unfortunately for us, we always, I don't think anybody in our generation now, if you go to the toilet, you'll bring your phone. You know, back in the day, if you were bored on the toilet, you would probably have some magazine. Yeah. Some comic magazine or something.
Yeah.
But you didn't find yourself sitting like an hour on the toilet going like, oh fuck, I've been here for an hour now.
Yeah.
You like wasted a whole hour just watching YouTube clips or whatever it is.
That's it. Your girlfriend or wife or whoever's there, you know, and then as soon as you go to the toilet, like on Instagram, like dozen reels
Yeah.
appear, you know, just because you're sat there just seeing shit and sending it, you know.
Yeah, and that whole thing just keeps us busy in a way that probably isn't healthy to do all the time. You know?
Good point. I agree with that.
Yeah, and to really, it's hard for me too. You know, it's like we're all victims of this phenomenon now.
Yeah.
But when I meet young people, I've been meeting a lot of young people like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 who's into metal now and want to play instruments. And I'll just ask them, how do you find the time to not doom scroll and actually practice? And they said, well, that's exactly it. They finally found something to do, which for them was the same as me when I was 13, 14.
Yeah.
That took away all the necessities to look at other people's lives and focus on your own life and what you can do.
That's awesome. I'm actually very happy to hear that, man. You know, I think that's a necessity. I think music's a great way to do that. Anders, but man, this has been a great conversation.
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on the show. Great chat. Yeah, thank you for the wise words and everything. I think people will probably find a lot of things to resonate within what you had to share there. Is there anything you would like to kind of plug or anything you want people to check out that you've got going on at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, if you're into the meditation thing, I have a project called the Third Circle, which is like Nordic ambient music. It's me and one of the guys from Vaidruna.
All right.
And we tried to deliberately make music that was supposed to be perfect for Psilocybin.
I need to check this out.
Yeah, the Third Circle.
Somehow I haven't heard this yet, but I will have to check it out.
It's out there. We're working on a full album. It's something I need to finalize later this year. Cadaver is up and running as a live band as well. We have the new album, Hymns of Misanthropy, which is old recordings with which we never released before, newly mixed, and it sounds like I talked about without any click tracks, or it sounds unique, sounds like us.
Yeah. That's a very unique, almost that kind of psychedelic sound.
Yeah.
Very raw as well, in a way, which I thought was pretty cool to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. So the more I listen to that, the more for whatever we do next, it's going to be even more down that road to sound even more different and more hypnotic and psychedelic and all that stuff. It's what I find most interesting musically. For the same reasons we've been talking about the whole conversation. Mm-hmm. And we are going to be playing some shows in Norway and Sweden this autumn. And hopefully next year we will see. There's some plans, not concrete, but I want to do like smaller tours, like maybe like a week here and there. We talked about doing something actually in the UK.
Okay, yeah.
Like UK, Ireland thing or something.
Great, yeah, you'd be most welcome, man, yeah.
And smaller festivals like the Beyond the Gates type festivals around.
Sure, yeah.
I'd rather play there than those huge ones. I mean, those are great too, but I like to play for the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Who's actually there for the music.
Yeah, I think London, you probably have a good place for that. But yeah, very excited to see that, man.
So, but we're just interested in to do whenever people want to invite us, we'll find a solution. But we have some people working on that, so that's exciting. And I'm constantly pounding new music ideas. I have my own studio, and it makes it's like total freedom to just be able to do whatever I like in that studio. And so since I've started to do that instead of touring, I've become more and more happy to sit and be creative at home. But I also had the urge sometimes to go out and play, and I like playing live too, but I don't need to do it like for a living for the whole year. That was
you do it because you enjoy it, not because you have to, kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly.
That's good, man.
So I'm in a good position in life.
Excellent to hear it. Anders, once again, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed the chat. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
And to everyone out there, hope you enjoyed this one. Support Cadaver and all of Anders' projects and everything he's got going on. And we'll see you on the next episode of Iblis Manifestations.
All right.